Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and beyond. I'm your host. I'm Reney. Here. Huh? This is Raina. Raina is the co-host and official mascot of the channel. And today her snack of the day is canine carryouts. These are little grilled chicken strips. And she got these as a gift for her Gotcha Day, which was March 19th. We celebrated having Raina in our lives for 5 years. She's a rescue dog. So now I can't believe this, speaking of time going by, but it is April, the beginning of April. So happy April to you. And that means that it's a new month now to discuss a new TBR, and we'll find out what Reney is going to be reading in April. So first, I've already started one book, and that is this beast here, Stephen King's 11/22/63. I am about 350 pages or so in. It's an 800-page book, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. I know that many of you have read this and have told me that I would like it, so maybe it comes as no surprise, but young man, school teacher, becomes aware of a portal that can transport him back to 1958. This portal has been used reliably by the owner of the diner in which it's located now for several years. And no matter how many times you go through this portal, you enter at the same point in 1958. So the diner owner has an idea to go through the portal and stay until 1963. So stay for approximately 5 years in order to intervene in the assassination of John Kennedy, who, of course, was the president at the time. He feels that if JFK survives, well, it's likely that his brother, Robert Kennedy, may as well, because he was actually campaigning for president when he was murdered. And also perhaps even Martin Luther King, you never know, may not be at that location where he was assassinated if something, different was going on at the time. So the world will be a better place because at least one or maybe even possibly all of these leaders will survive. So the diner owner is very ill and weak. He is an older man, and he can no longer do it, so he gets this teacher to agree. So basically, the story is all of the things that he encounters in 1958 and a little bit about kind of his story and what he's doing. So, yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where things are going to start turning a little bit, and there's probably more to this portal than what they know, but we'll see. I have started it in April. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to finish it in April because I do have some commitments to buddy reads, for one thing, that I'll need to get done in April. So let's talk about those. Now, first is a buddy read with Daniela from Uncommon Reader. She and I do buddy reads together occasionally. And this month we're reading Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. And for me, this will count as a banned book. So there'll be more about it to come soon. But I've also read now out of this book, Go Tell It on the Mountain. So I'm doing good with the early novels and stories of James Baldwin. That was one of my commitments this year, was to read James Baldwin. My other buddy read, or I think we're actually calling it a bestie read, will be The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. This is with Becky of Book Reviews with Becky. This will be my third book by Kristen Hanna that I've read within the past couple of years. I've read, of course, The Women. I also read The Great Alone. And this particular one is a story set in Texas in the 20s and 30s. And I think it'll make a good buddy read for us. So more to come on both of those books in April. Next, I want to show you a book that I just purchased the other day at a library sale. This was only $2. It was a book of the month selection for March. I did not order this one as my book of the selection for March. However, a number of you said in the comments that either you had read this recently or it was something that you thought I might like. You were somewhat surprised that I ordered Wild Dark Shore instead of this one. You thought that this, would possibly be the pick. So it's interesting that I found it so soon afterward. See, it says right on the back that it's a book of the month from March 2025. So I would like to read it in April or at least soon so that I can let you know what I think about it. So I'm going to try to get to that one also in April. Of course, that will be in addition now to my now April book of the month, which I've already ordered, and hopefully that'll come in a few days. Time out for a snack. I also selected one of the books that I talked about in my video, the Quick to Judgment tag. All the books that I chose that day to read the first paragraph from all seemed really, really good. So I actually hope to get to all of them within the next few months. There were 5 of them in all. I've already read the first one, which was The Maid. That was the one that I selected as a number one, book to start with. But this one had a nice nostalgic feeling for me in that first paragraph. It's called The Memory of Running by Ron McClarty. I don't really know a lot about this book at all. It's also a library sale find. I just loved the cover and the first paragraph now, so that's enough for me. We've got a nice red bicycle on like a beautiful evening with gorgeous colors on the ground, and I don't know, some stars in the sky. Yeah, it's just really pretty. Okay, so if I have time, I would also get to another, like to get to another retro read. Now, last month I read a classic Three Investigators book. I know I read it way back in the day, probably over 55 years ago, but it's interesting. I did remember some of it, and it was just a fun read. It was the number one book in that series, and it was entitled, I think, The Secret of Terror Castle. So now I have some classic Nancy Drews. This is actually the first one in the Nancy Drew series. It's from the 60s, and I'm absolutely sure I read this back in the day as well. It's The Secret of the Old Clock. And hopefully I can squeeze it in. If not, then perhaps the following month, if not this coming month. So, yeah. Then one more, again now, this will be time permitting, and that would be The Crime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Spark. I have never read this. I have never seen the show that was, produced from it. I didn't know what it was about until I read the back cover. So let me read you what's on there. It says, she didn't fit in as a teacher in that staid girls' school in Edinburgh, Scotland. She had ideas. She taught with wit and charm. She took a lover. She was Miss Jean Brodie, a woman unmistakably in her prime, and the students she chose to become the creme de la creme were called the Brodie set. Each was famous in her own right. Rose for sex, Jenny for beauty, Sandy for her eyes, and each was devoted to Miss Jean Brodie, and one would betray her. So I thought that sounded interesting, and one of the first things that I said was, yeah, that's a banned book for sure. Lo and behold, I was right. I looked it up, and yeah, it's got some, at least, challenges, but I think bans also against it. So I look forward to reading this book. It sounds fascinating to me. Definitely more to come on that one. Now, that's it. That's my TBR, or pile of possibilities, or hopefuls, or reading rainbow, whatever you want to call it, for April. It's a lot to look forward to, really. I think I'm going to enjoy probably all of them. I have a video coming up now soon that we'll post where Donna reviews a book and gives her thoughts. It's on a book that I haven't even read. So that'll post over the weekend, I think. And then that would be the first weekend in April I'm referring to. Also, I have a couple of banned book videos that are due to post soon as well. One is just called 5 Banned Books You Should Read and Why. And then the other is a banned book review of this book, Hatchet by Gary Paulsen. So keep an eye out for those. Also, I want to say a big thank you to all who have done our Spring is in the Air tag. I've tried to repost the videos, and I hope I've done that, at least in most cases. If you watch me and you're subscribed to my channel, please go over to these channels as well, and be sure that you're subscribed to them as well. These are all great booktubers and friends. Like I say, all of them did my or our Spring is in the Air tag. Daniela from Uncommon Reader and I did it together. So those people are Stuart at Stuart Griffin, Pat at Book Chat with Pat, Ted at Ted Read Instead. I love that name. Noah at The Bookworm. I'm sorry I don't know your first name, but your channel is Books, Purrs, and Gurrs. There's channel Christopher at Christopher Russell. It's a fairly new booktube channel. Excellent. He does a great job. Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads. Brian at Adventures in Literature. Kelly at Kelly Loves Books and Movies. Gavin at Genre Books. And Gavin just hit the 1,000 sub milestone. So congratulations, Gavin. That's very exciting. So now, if you did this tag and I didn't say your channel name, please, first of all, please excuse me. It's nothing intentional, of course. I just need to have you let me know in the comments that I missed it somehow, and that you did the Spring is in the Air tag, and I'll be sure to share that information. Links to all of these channels will be in the description, and I will just add yours if you tell me that I've, omitted yours for whatever reason. So that's it. Snack for the road. Thank you, Raina. You did excellent today. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great night.